Let's talk family. Let's talk family about the things that impact us as individual family members, as a whole, as a community family, and as a country family. Let's Talk Family Live. Let's Talk Family is a program brought to you by Family Life Ministries. Family Life Ministries is a counseling organization that primarily offers individual, family, and relationship counseling. We have counselors who are available to speak on a number of subjects for your conferences for church, school, or work. Family Life Ministries is also known for its media programs, the divorce recovery program Fresh Start, and its company counseling package, the Employee Assistance Program. Visit our website at www.familylifeministriesjamaica.com. Find us on Facebook at FLM Family Life Ministries or on Instagram at FLMJA, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Family Life Ministries FLMJA. We'll give our numbers at the end of this program. Now here's today's episode of Let's Talk Family.
Good evening and welcome to Let's Talk Family. Hi, I'm your host, Halcyon Reed. Our verse today is, "Keep his decrees and commands which I am giving you today, so that it may go well with you and your children after you, and that you may live long in the land of the Lord your God gives you for all time." And it comes from Deuteronomy 4 verse 40. Although child abuse has been around for centuries, recorded mainstream awareness globally never really happened until the 1960s. It is one of those things that just boggles the mind as to why it still keeps happening. Most of us wonder, how is it that anyone can abuse a child? After all, children need to be held dear, not hurt. But yet hundreds are abused daily across the world, and unfortunately the numbers are going up in Jamaica. Why is that so? And what are the worrying trends we are experiencing today? To help answer our questions is Pauline Bain, counseling psychologist. Welcome to Let's Talk Family, Mrs. Bain.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Good to have you back.
Yeah.
All right, so let's quickly go through the types of abuse. What are the types of abuse?
Well, there's physical, there's sexual, there's emotional, and neglect, which covers a number of aspects of abuse, which can be physical or emotional and related to care and protection of children.
And who are some of these perpetrators?
Well, perpetrators can be anybody, but I want to talk about some research that has been done that shows some characteristics of people who are abusers. They have this low frustration tolerance. So they will shout and get angry at simple things which other people would not get angry at. For example, if a child spilled some water or some milk, or a child broke a glass, people who are perpetrators can get into a rage and beat up a child for things like that. They have a lot of needs that have not been met for themselves. And they may have been abused themselves. And they have this need for controlling and power. And even maybe their partners, they want to control them all the time. And they sometimes are depressed, and they themselves have learned that they can't help themselves. So they just continue to abuse people.
So it sounds to me like the perpetrators have a lot of unmet needs. They need help.
That's right. And unfortunately, we do not focus enough on the perpetrators and the abusers.
Well, abuse has been going on for a very, very long time. A lot of it has not been reported. A lot of it was not being reported over the years. What's different now than it was 30 years ago?
To me, the difference is that we have become more aware and we're talking about it. And in our schools, children are beginning to get information about abuse. And the media has also been publishing information, whether it is written or visual. There are ads and information to help all of us to become more aware. So that is a good thing. And some people who were abused a long time ago suddenly begin to think about it and realize, oh, but that was abuse when that happened to me. So there is the awareness, which is good.
So we're more aware now, but the abuse still continues. Why is that so?
Because we have not dealt with ourselves. We continue to abuse because we have poor impulse control. We don't understand ourselves. And, I keep saying in Jamaica, we don't spend enough time to reflect, to be quiet, to know ourselves, and to say, but, I shouldn't be doing that. We keep moving and we live in a lot of noise. And so we don't stop long enough to think about what we're doing to other people. And we don't practice the biblical injunction that we do to others what we would have them do to us. And because we are so much into ourselves and what we want, we don't think about loving our neighbor as ourselves, and our children, our spouses, our partners, our neighbors. Who is your neighbor? And we don't spend enough time to do that. As a result, we continue to hurt each other.
So it sounds to me, Mrs. Bain, that for us to even start to, get rid of this monster of abuse, we need to start with the perpetrators. Why is it that we're not focusing on them? What can we do? How can we get started there?
I would think that when somebody is charged and convicted of a crime of abusing a child, that person should also be sent to counseling or some kind of rehabilitation. And that would be one area where we can start. And when it's discovered that a child is being abused and we know who the perpetrator is, that person should be sent for counseling. But right now, we only take care of the child who is being abused. And we need to find some community action that would give a certain amount of support for a perpetrator, because something is wrong where the person is doing what he or she is doing. Whether it is a mother who beats up the child because she's frustrated, she doesn't have enough money, she doesn't have a job, she's unhappy, and she herself was beaten up. If we can bring these people into a situation where they can learn about self and begin to understand why I do what I do, then we may be able to take corrective action.
Tell me, Mrs. Bain, what is the role of the news media and also social media in all of this?
I would think that as we become aware, we could spend more time in giving information that's correct, reacting negatively less, and just trying to understand what's happening. So instead of some of the things that we do in social media, we could begin to look at what is helpful, what is healthy, what is necessary to improve our society in general.
And everybody using social media, how can persons help to get rid of child abuse or stop it or, reduce it or get people more aware? How can we use social media to do that?
I would think that people ought to realize that if they put something on social media that is abusive, that they themselves are being abusers. And I don't use social media because it takes too much time. But I understand that some people are really brutal and unkind in their comments. And so maybe they need to begin to think about being less brutal, kinder, and use things that would be corrective rather than destructive.
Yeah. How about our musicians? What can they do?
I have recognized that music is such a tool for learning.
Powerful tool.
Powerful. And maybe we just need to think more about the lyrics. Instead of foolishness, I call some of the things I hear foolishness because it's not really helping anybody. We need to think about more conscious lyrics to help our children, because our children can sing a lot of those songs once they hear them. And some of them are definitely not clean. So if our musicians, and I heard some years ago that the musicians were going to come together and produce clean lyrics, but they haven't.
But I'm also thinking, Mrs. Bain, that the musicians could help to talk to these perpetrators, talk out against child abuse.
Yeah. As you say that, I saw a little video of a man preaching, not in Jamaica, but he talked about Black Lives Matter. And some of the things he said, Black Lives Matter, so you don't beat up the woman in your house. Black Lives Matter, you know, and he went on to talk about negative things that Afro-Americans do that they're not even aware that they're doing. And I thought, wow.
Bring some awareness.
That was powerful, and people need to be aware. He talked about selling drugs in your community, you know. So what we have to become is conscious of the things that we are doing that are negative, that affect our children, and determine that children are important, they are a gift from God, and we're going to treat them better.
Thank you, Mrs. Bain. Thank you so much for sharing with us. Many questions have been answered. Thanks for listening. I'm Halcyon Reed, and this was Let's Talk Family. Good evening, and remember to stay safe and to care for others like you would want to be cared for. Have a blessed evening.
And you feel my life, you're everything to me, and there's nothing else I need anymore.
This was Let's Talk Family, a production of Family Life Ministries. If you or anyone you know would like advice and counseling, call us or head office at 1 Cecilio Avenue at 876-926-8101, 876-929-4360, or 876-920-1034, or send her in Portmore at 117 Cecile Avenue at 876-939-7917.
This program was produced at the studio of the United Church in Jamaica and the Cayman Islands, located at 12 Carlton Crescent, Kingston 10. Call us at 876-926-6059 for your voiceover and broadcasting needs.